Well, we're back, bigger and badder. I'm going to tell you right up front. Hi, Crash. I'm going to tell you right up front. Some of you aren't going to like this. And Crash will tell you we thought about how to approach this. And I've always been the one said, you know what? Punch him in the face. Don't stop, explain later. And we've been bold this whole time for 22 decades, bold. Well, I'm going to stay bold. Because I think there's going to be a movement outside the Republicans and the Democrats. And if there is a movement, I don't know, let's call it the truth. Somebody wants to be president and tell the truth. It's the only fucking option that might be left because the world's getting smarter as it's burning. So the other point I want to make is let's think about where we've taken you in these brief months, on top of the 2 fucking decades. The plundering, what did we find out? Oh, you're damn right there's plundering of America. But I'm also going to give you the theory behind it. What did we give you before? How to clean the dark money. We gave you the cartel and how they were going to bust them, the Sinaloa cartel, before they busted them. Then we told you that it would be a trip before they mentioned Medicaid and Medicare. By taking out the cartels, you're going to find out the associations with the treatment centers, the hospitals, which is Minnesota, before all of it happened. Just like the 20 years before that, that was before all it happened. All that's happening now. That's why I'm frustrated and angry. You're seeing the podcast. You're seeing the videos. Where were we off? Here's the thing. I'm not reading a fucking headline. I'm giving you the headlines. I'm not a podcaster. I'm a witness, a whistleblower. I built the Pandora's box. This plundering of America is in the fucking box. Open the box, Mike. You got an understanding why I couldn't wave a wand when it's state attorneys generals of the United States, the Department of Justice, and it's an investigation of each and everything through Medicaid and Medicare? Are you getting it now? That's what it was. That's what we gave you. And we stepped it to you like children, each and every podcast. Have you noticed that the podcast last led you to the one before? And again, like walking up a flight of stairs? Listen, when I was running for governor, when I was putting out data corruption, I wasn't giving you the news. I was making the news because you were asleep. I didn't want to put the faces of cartels on signs. Right. Because the DOJ was protecting them. The DEA was partners in their drugs. It was the politicians. I had the politicians on the sign. You're not seeing the politicians involved in all of this? It just turns out being a decade ahead of you bastards is not a good thing. But remember this, because I remember it. Many of those people knew the truth. Many of those people worked for the system. You don't think the cops knew the AGs were corrupt? You don't think the counselors and treatment centers, transition centers, you don't think the guards in the Sununu Youth Detention Center, while 1,100 children were getting beaten, raped, they all didn't know anything. They all didn't see anything. That's my anger. My anger is with the people who knew and said nothing. The people who played stupid and knew. It's hard to blame the stupid, but I'm having a hard time not blaming them too, because you can't say you didn't know. I'm showing it to you each and every week, and it's happening. You don't think they're blocking our stuff? We're doing this a point of record. That's what I'm giving you, because that's where our door opens. They ain't going nowhere without me. And if I wasn't 70, I'd be running for fucking president. If I could buy a tooth. All right. So let's get
hey,
to.
Mike, we don't care about your tooth as long as you tell the truth.
And you know something? Think about this. I could have picked a side and been rich and wealthy. The DOJ with the money laundering network. Now you understand why they wanted to pay me $50 million.
Yeah.
Everybody who audits those assholes. And let's not forget, I was worth hundreds of millions and famous. World fucking famous. But I didn't pick that door. I didn't pick any of their doors. I didn't pick Flynn either. I didn't pick Trump either. I picked you. Do you know what this looks like? This looks like how I'm living, my health, because I picked you. You're the losers. Listen, you may not know this, but Trump and the DOJ and drug cartels, you know who's the last son of a bitch they wanted to pick a fight with? Me. I grew up. I never started a fight. I never had to. Nobody comes knocking on my fucking door. But unfortunately, I got to save the sheep. It's part of my course in life. So know this. I'm here. Everything that translates from being here is from telling you the truth and fighting your enemies. Who were your enemies? Were the Sinaloa cartel your fucking enemies? They baited me to get me murdered in Arizona with them because they knew I cannot resist that kind of fight. You think I pick on the DOJ? Maybe the strongest organization, most dangerous in the world? Look at who my enemies are. I mean, it's not like I picked on the stupid and the weak, but that's how you get there. All right. All right. Let's go on. And again, some of you may not like this. I remember when you guys all lost their shit on door 1, 2, or 3. Pandora's box, a deal, an assassination. Well, let's roll the dice again. And you know what? Every time you lose your shit, it just makes me know for certain all of it is right because you've been only wrong. Windmill witches and werewolves and that shit they sold your ass, and you question logic, you question evidence and proof and delivered.
Right.
That you
That's what I was going to say. We didn't question that, but we questioned you. And everybody asked me back then, I was still kind of doing videos on my own and stuff. And
yeah.
like, how can you support that man knowing he said that Trump might have took a deal? I'm like, that how can you not consider it at that point? You know, I mean, I'm not going to hate you like they did. I know it was all a show, but I'm not going to hate someone for having
Oh, a
a
lot
fit.
of people did hate me for it. That
I know.
wasn't a joke because they were already.
Well, the bigger guys, like the people, the Flynn people, like all the
Yeah.
little minions, you know, whatever. But
But
I
don't
didn't.
forget, it was the Flynn people and Olson who played me the recording of Jack Smith meeting with
Right.
Trump's attorneys. All what I told you is what I heard. And what happened after? The guy wrote a book.
Yeah.
So, in other words, all what I told you turned out to be true, as we are here now.
Right.
So, if you lose your shit,
Oh well.
we're right on course. All right, so let's start. Let's start irritating you. All right, hit that picture, Crash, and I'll play. This is J.D. Vance. He was on the Jesse Waters show, and he was asked a simple question about Trump getting impeached again. Vance, I'm sure he'll get impeached. Look, we're having nothing to actually govern on. They'll have nothing to run. I don't know. How about your fucking economy? How about dropping bombs wherever you go? And now they're talking about invading Cuba. We have nothing to run on. Let's hear it from him. All right.
If the Democrats do win the midterms, is Trump getting impeached again? I'm sure he'll get impeached. Look, they have nothing to actually run on or govern on. Their entire obsessive focus of that party is they hate Donald Trump. So if they ever get power, are they going to lower Americans' taxes? No. Are they going to make your life more affordable? No. Are they going to solve the crime crisis? No. What they're going to do is they're going to spend all their time and all of your money trying to get Donald Trump. I think it's ridiculous. That's what they're running on. The American people are going to make this determination. I think the American people should vote for the people who want to make their life more affordable, who want to make their neighborhoods safer. That's what we're trying to deliver every single day. If the Democrats do win the midterms.
Okay. Well, how's life been treating you? Is it more affordable?
No.
The price of oil went from like $50 to a barrel to 90. And when it was 50, you only got 92,000 jobs in a month. And let me put it this way to you. To keep a stable economy, it requires around 300,000 jobs. Remember, that's the shit I did and was the best at doing it. Forecasting, which made me perfect for forecasting these animals. So your life better? What happens when this war comes to your door? You know what I remember? Again, it takes me back to school. I punched a bully in the face, but there'd be that little instigator, the one who stood out of harm's way, would agitate. I punched him in the face too. And in this country, it's hard to say, it's easy to say, let's go to war when they're not dropping bombs on you. Listen, I seen you during COVID. I seen you freaking out for toilet paper, shitheads. You won't handle it well. You think you're safe. What happens in the world of terrorism when they pollute your water supply? There's ways to have them hit you, and you don't handle it well. So stop agitating, especially when is it not Israel behind this? What is it, a country of 8 million people grab us by the nose? All right, let's take you through what's going to happen next and what's happening now. Hit it, Crash. You only got to go back to plundering of America. Now, what was it, plundering of America? Now, that's a big statement. And you know what? It's true. It's true why we're almost 39 trillion down. It was 76 cents on every tax dollar. What is it now? They even wanted to make believe money and back that. Hey, how's Bitcoin been doing? Up and down, up and down. That's how you cash out. And what did it hit? 74 back to 67. The point being is that plundering, what was the plundering turned out to be? Pandora's box. What was Pandora's box? It was cartels, politicians that were running Medicaid and Medicare scams across this country in the trillions. That's why you're broke. That's why they're rich. What did we find out? Uh-oh, it is the case, the plundering of America. I wish I said it. But let's find out. Let's not forget, I was a tool on that plundering of America. General Flynn's team from December 18th, I'm just going to show a flash of that, reached out to me because I was the Pandora box before there was Pandora's Papers. Pandora Papers dropped $935 billion. 18,935 on New Hampshire, naming the businesses that I called out. Dartmouth Hospital, in the box. Auto Fair, in the box. Real Estate Recovery, in the box. Nothing? They stole my fortune because I was right. I put the cartels on those signs because there was nowhere else to go. Who's protecting all these criminals in the plundering of America if it isn't the DOJ? Well, what about the audit system? Oh, you mean like the IRS, TICA? And the banking department, Department of Revenue, oh, they're on the 50 million. You see, the plundering of America starts with your own government. All right? So what you see with the plundering of America is what I've called out. And I had that 16 fucking years ago. On 16, what's that now? I lose track with the years that fly by. 10 years ago, I put their fucking faces on signs, including the politicians. Okay, hit it. Because this is what I believe. You see that map? And that was the 2024 election map. Let's not forget, what 4 states did Trump call out? Well, California, it's right there in blue. Minnesota, in blue. I mean, let me think. Harris from California running for president, Waltz from Minnesota, the VP, and he said Massachusetts in May. Both Democratic states sandwiching New Hampshire. Oh, and I know the 935 billion of the plundering. Remember, even with the Somalis, it was going offshore. It comes back. They don't want to live in fucking Somalia. They want to have the money here. They want to have it here clean. That's the 935. And who orchestrated? Bill Shaheen, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager. Oh, we've been talking to Hillary recently. I mean, this shit is completely full fucking circle. Even this thing with this, what's her name? The woman from ICE.
I'm not sure who.
She just got fired.
Oh, Christy Noem.
No. Her boyfriend was Lewandowski from New Hampshire, who Trump gave me to give the evidence to, who was feeding it back to the cartel. I mean, I feel like I'm in a tight little circle. All right, you see those states? What did Santelli tell you? What did the Flintsters tell you? I could be weaponized. They're weaponizing my evidence now. But here's the point I'm making, and you ain't going to like it. Trump is weaponizing as a weapon. You heard from the beginning, you heard Vance. And Vance, what did Vance tell you? That they're going to impeach Trump. So the question of the day, every day, what would Trump do to save himself? Uh-oh. Would he put you in a war?
I guess I'm going to ask, I'd say, how far will he go to save himself? That's like.
Well, I think we're seeing it.
Right.
If Israel could control the Senate and the Congress with blackmail and extortion, they got us in a war that could lead to a nuclear war. They're attacking a country of 92,000 people. Here, I'll give you a statistic. You ready? I pulled this up on AI. Iran in 50 years is attached to less than 1,000 deaths of Americans. And that includes 79 with the Ayatollah. These drug cartels and child traffickers, which is the same, kill hundreds of thousands of you every fucking year. We're dropping bombs on them. At the same time, our boy Trump saying, oh, we'll go to Mexico. Another fucking country right after Cuba? Oh, Jesus. And we'll blow up them. The cartels are American cartels. It is our government that's protecting them and laundering for them. That's the IRS. They'll tax the shit out of you, and they protect them. Listen, the enemy is us. The largest cartels are us. Who is the most addicted country in the world by far? Us. They're killing you. And the deals that they make with pharmaceutical companies, healthcare companies, food and drugs. I mean, anything that gets them a profit kills your ass.
Right. And I was just going to say that we're still seeing way more pharmaceutical ads on TV than we've ever seen. And back in 2020, our big thing with, people that were looking for the truth and Q, I guess, if you can want to say that, we were like, we're going to get rid of big pharma. That's going down and it's getting stronger. And he's making deals with them. That's just, it blows my mind.
When they say making deals, he made the deals with them. He burdened you with the tariffs. What did we find out about the tariffs? Well, they're illegal, and we have to pay the money back. It is your big win, by the way. You were getting taxed. And you know who's going to get that money back? Those companies and those corporations, and you paid the bills. That's why I think hey, we're going to have a third party. We'll call it the truth party and put your fucking ass in jail party. All right. So what if Trump's plan is to weaponize my evidence? They keep coming to me and I keep going to you. And what would you do with that evidence? You target your enemies. What's your greatest fear? Impeachment. Because impeachment, he might just get tried by his crimes. Who's going after him? Oh, that's Jack Smith. Who had him before the election and was going to prosecute him? Jack Smith. Jack Smith is going to Congress again to retestify. So, and if Vance is saying, of course they're going to impeach him, I don't know. How do you think the midterms are going to go? The economy's sinking. The president for peace is blowing everything up. And do you believe I wouldn't have got you into that Ukraine war? Really? You didn't get you fucking out of it, did it? And there's Jack Smith. Ready? All his witnesses weren't Democrats, not a single one. Smith is still in fucking play. So, okay, that's good. Now, so Trump targets his enemy. Waltz, the VP candidate, not his enemy. Omar, not his enemy. Waltz, the governor. Remember this because this is operational. I'm giving you the foundation of these operations, how it works. It's how I found them. The governor's position. Why the governor's position? Because they turn around and sign off on these Medicaid bills. And you find reps like Omar, and in every state, sign off on it in a federal level. Starting to feel like our $38 trillion national debt. You don't fucking say. That's exactly how it works. Now, he tags California and Harris. He's targeting his fucking enemies. Massachusetts and Warren, the most Democratic state in the country. So think about this. If Trump's most concern is Trump, this evidence can be weaponized, and it can. Remember, when Flynn brought me in December 18th, it was to leverage the Senate and the Congress. I've told you that many times. Can they be leveraged? You're seeing it now. If they can be arrested, they can be leveraged. If you can follow the money, what is Omar? Has a wine business? 50 million to 30 million? Married her brother or some shit like that? Listen, they can be leveraged. So if Trump wanted to leverage the votes that could impeach him, you'd pick the states where the reps and the senators who would have it in a hearing are guilty. Brilliant. Except it was my fucking idea. And they just turned around and and weaponized it to everybody who's against Trump. So if Vance is telling you, who then would be the president, turns around and says, of course they're going to try to impeach him. That's how Trump protects himself. Then Trump takes a few of his key players out and he goes, how about the rest of you? Would you like to go to jail? Because you're my next target. And where would you start with? The Democrats? The people who would naturally vote against them for the impeachment? So they did weaponize me. They did weaponize my evidence. That's what you're seeing here. So when we asked ourselves, what would Trump do? do that because you know why? In his mind of saving Trump, it's the right fucking move. And we turn around, look at that. They stole our money. Under his protection as president, too. Don't forget, and I'll show you that, it was his DOJ that took my fucking evidence. How did Flynn know what I had? How did the DOJ know what I had? Because I gave it to them. They all knew what I had. Why did you say James O'Keefe, who's debriefing the president suddenly, go and steal my evidence?
How did the podcasters all know what you had?
What was that?
How did the podcasters all know what you had? We never really heard of you.
They heard it from Flynn.
Right. That's my point.
Okay, that's your point you're making.
Yeah.
Right.
I asked the
Exactly
question.
correct.
I asked questions I already know the answer to. Sorry.
Oh, very good. But that's exactly the point. And what did they say? He's a hero, the most important whistleblower ever. This is what I had, which is also why, with me, this is coming to a head, which is why I struggled with what was going to happen next. Both sides are corrupt. I don't know. Let's hold out for someone who's not corrupt. And maybe someone wakes up and goes, hey, telling the truth may be the only path that's left. When the people in America turn around and go, we're broke, we're in fucking wars, and they've been lying to us on everything. Maybe it's time to change. I don't know. And you know what they do? They bounce you back from the white hats to the black hats, to the Republicans and the Democrats. They were all fucking you. Don't you get it? Okay, so that's the plan. That's why you go from Mass in Maine, and skip New Hampshire. All right, hit it. I don't want to spoil the rest. Now in New Hampshire, with the 935 billion that are in the Pandora Papers, Anagos was in them. Cruz was in them. He owned AutoFare. Griner owns and runs their banks for them. These are the people that I had up on my signs. Granite State Recovery, AutoFare, all of it. Turns out they run and own the Hope Treatment Center. Now, what have they been telling you in Minnesota and so forth? Somebody owns the entities that are stealing the Medicaid and Medicare. Who profits by it? So in other words, they get free shit, they steal. It isn't the people just that are stealing it, they get free rent. These guys steal trillions. That is the largest drug cartel in this country. That is Planet fucking Fitness. That is AutoFare. It's the money laundering. It's all of it. Now, this is what I would tell you. We've talked about money and the trillions they stole from you. You see that Hope Treatment Center? You know what I couldn't stand for? That obscenity. The obscenity of this. It wasn't just the trillions they were stealing. It was the people, it was the children that were on drugs, that were coming to a treatment center for help to save their lives. Their hope, meaning their last hope. And they were drug dealers. They put them back on the streets. They hit them with Medicaid and Medicare until they died. They stole hope. They stole your kids' drugs, and then they stole their last chance. And these facilities were a joke. They were a front. You want a hill to die on? Pick that one. Not only are you going broke, but it's paid for in blood. You understand? Blood. So when I took it to the DEA and I took it to the Department of Justice, they didn't do anything. They protected these criminals, so I put their fucking faces on the signs. The signs were the last resort. The next thing was smoke signals, just asking Jesus to help. What are they saying? Gitmo breaking. Oh, we're that. Oh, they love saying fucking Gitmo.
Yeah.
The same assholes who should be in Gitmo. The largest healthcare fraud in U.S. history. What is it? What is it? Okay, thank you. 14.6 billion. Oh, I gave you 935 trillion, a billion. Oh, Operation Gold Rush exposes 14.6 million in Medicaid scam, charging 324 doctors, nurses, executives charged in healthcare fraud and U.S. history. I mean, the doctors in the hospitals that I gave you, Dartmouth, Alex Walker, the CEO of the Catholic Medical Center, Anna Goss, who owns the Elliott fucking hospital, and those doctors, no shit. Largest in history? You haven't cracked the door open yet. Gold Rush operations covers 14% billions in scams. Man, crypto, and stolen, luxury stolen with your tax money. Luxury, they own casinos, mansions, they own the fucking state. And I gave you all that. Hit it.
And I just want to say,
Follow the.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just want to say something real quick about the Hope Treatment Center. They call it Hope Treatment Center, but then they steal your hope. You know what
Exactly. That's the obscenity.
I mean? Right.
And this thing with the money, they're the largest. That's when you see what they have, luxury cars, mansions, strip joints, and all.
Yeah.
They look for the money. They clean it,
Right.
and the people auditing is the government. And you know those politicians. You know what they buy first and foremost? Those politicians. Hit it. Now, my favorite two forms, but from the Department of Justice, U.S. Prosecutor Lowen. So if we want to know about the Medicaid fraud, Medicare, how they do it, how they clean their money, who does it, like the cartels, it's all in those forms. Hit the second one. You don't have to guess. I found them all. They have the names. They know how they do it. They had the witnesses. I wrapped them in a nice little box, wrapped it, put a nice bow on it, and Lullen gives it to the Attorney General of the United States, Sessions, then Barr. Now, you're going to get a little lesson on the Attorney General's office, because what I've got to show you is how this works. It's the machine. How does it include your government, your politicians? Hit it. Just so you know, they all had it. And this is what Flynn was. What about the Pandora says about New Hampshire? According to the Pandora Papers, 932.5 billion worth of assets are now managed by trusts based in Granite State. Now, those trusts are managed by the Secretary of State, who authorizes the LLCs. You guys couldn't spell LLC until I started putting it out there. That's where Maxwell was living in an LLC under an Obama cabinet member. Whoa. The banking department. Remember how many videos you got me going into the banking department with Jerry Little? How about the hearing with doing the laundry with Sununu and Little, which is his boy? You mean the governor to be controlling the auditing of the fucking LLCs? And then you're going to find out later Sununu's tied to Epstein with Dean Kamen and dropping assets off in Dubai. Like Waltz. I mean, I gave you the whole fucking roadmap. So in other words, no one's answering that. That's why they didn't bring up in New Hampshire, because that 932 billion goes around your country. Trump needs some of those votes. Go ahead, hit it. Just a reminder, December 18, 2020, knock, knock. And what did Flynn want? As he's in the Oval Office with Trump with the insurrection. Now, is the insurrection important? When you say, Vance, Trump's going to get impeached, it's because of the fucking insurrection. It starts there. I'm the fucking witness. Hit the next one. Why me? Because I'm the Pandora's box, which is why they asked for the settlement. What's the settlement? The names of the IRS, Bill Shaheen, the banking department, the banking commission, how this all fucking works of stealing, the plundering of America. And what did I tell you? I could be weaponized then, there, and why I agreed to work with Flynn and give him this evidence for those 3 fucking weeks. Because this could be used as it's being used right fucking now. It ties in the DOJ. So all of a sudden, it also answers the question why all those Flynn podcasters I was the whistleblower of the century. They've used century, by the way. They've used history. They used of our time. If you people were paying attention, and those were the only assholes you were paying attention to, what scares me? How quickly you forget shit. They said it. Elvira just turned around and turned on Trump, but told us Trump might have been replaced. And just before that, he told us that Flynn was dead. I mean, and you went with it from like a dog to a bone. I'm going, it can't be. But it can now, can it? All right, hit it. So now you know why. And listen, Flynn, impeached, is the insurrection, not because gas prices. Now, remember, the insurrection also had a twist. I went through all the corrupt little fucking podcasters, including Mother Teresa, Michelle Moore. She only sent me to Arizona to get fucking smoked. Why? Not that I was just a problem for Flynn, who they tried their hardest to make me famous and rich, just like the DOJ did. But I said no. But wait a minute. Chris Sununu was going to be the VP under Haley. Chris Sununu and doing the laundry can't have me around. But we now know that meeting happened. Tuckeroni is off on the on the tour. Stu Peters, Jimmy Dore. What? You mean a little asshole that was in the meeting recording everybody, who's now turning around and told Michelle that there is a recording? He had one. I mean, I told you he records everything. And he's mentioning Liz Harris. Hit it. So Arizona meeting happened. We have witnesses. You can listen to my phone call thereafter with Stacy Burke explaining within 48 hours after it happened what was said exactly. You're hearing Tuckeroni's talking with Liz Harris, who was there as a witness who recorded it. Tuckeroni's saying, hey, why don't you release it? Because they're setting up Trump in the brokered convention by General Flynn with the DOJ. With presenting the tape, Harris turns around and says, never. They all have it. They all have witnesses. Okay, hit it. Now, why that's so important? Give me a second. Why that's so important is it's the insurrection on December 18th, what they were going to use to leverage the Senate and the Congress. You know how you leverage blackmailers? With blackmail. More blackmail. I mean, you don't think Israel leveraging the Senate and the Congress didn't get us in that war? They couldn't be leveraged to save Trump in an impeachment, especially when we take out the trouble people. There's a pretty exact picture being painted here. That meeting proves that the DOJ and Flynn worked for the DOJ, meaning the DOJ with the insurrection was their plan, and Trump went for it like a trout to a fly, which makes him not innocent. Of course he would commit a crime to stay in their office. But the DOJ turns around and said, we want to prosecute you now. Jack Smith was ready. What you're going to get in impeachment now was the plan to prosecute then. Because Trump, it's not because he's taken out because he's good. It's because he's so filthy and corrupt. You open up the Epstein files, some of you knuckleheads might be saying, hey, how long did the DOJ have it for? Just like you should be asking, with all this criminality and all these politics and all this thing, where was the fucking DOJ? Where were the state AGs? And we'll continue on that. Where were they? They're corrupt too. So in other words, if you open up that box, the Pandora's box, the Epstein files, you're going to get these shitheads to pop up. So you know what? Trump's actually leveraging the DOJ with his own corruption. But they can come out clean, the DOJ, with the insurrection. Flynn will ask for it, will get immunity. Powell, they'll sing like canaries. And you know what? By that time, them sinking Trump will be okay because you ain't going to be liking him, which is how he gets impeached. See? It's a pretty good, solid plan, which is why, if you remember, and we called it, I said Trump's going to be going after Flynn. No one believed it. Then Flynn turns around and said, Trump's going after us. And that's the point of entrapment. Trump, means of exit, is why also Tina Peters is still in jail, is entrapment. Hey, I was only guilty. I did it because they planned it. I fell for the plan. Unfortunately for the retards, that's good enough to get you out. You see? All a nice little package. And don't forget, who stopped him in Arizona? Who set that meeting? This is where Stacy goes, you weren't part of it. You set him up. 100%. But I did set him up. I did get that information. Those morons thought Trump sent me. Trump didn't send me. He wasn't smart enough to figure it out. It would have been his ass. You would have still been all these wars. What was Haley? Military-industrial complex. Sununu and the Bush family, right? They didn't get you any wars in the Middle East? How about all of them? Okay? So in other words, that was the plan, which also tells you somebody took a fucking deal. And not for the first time. That explains the Epstein files not opening, because that would incriminate him. That would explain why all of a sudden the promise of the president of peace was a piece of shit. Okay, so remember that now. And again, go back to Vance. They're telling you this is happening. Jack Smith didn't go away. Hit it. All we're seeing now is with the Pandora's box and plundering of America is a counter move. There's Waltz, there's Harris, both under scrutiny, and Waltz under oath. And I saw Waltz under oath, and I saw his AG. I saw Omar. And boys and girls, it don't look good. That's the funny thing about these idiots. None of them are as smart as you think they are. What do they say? I think they'll fold under questioning. You bet your ass they'll fold under questioning. They took the job. They were handpicked because they were that fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And they were that corrupt. Hit it. So the domino is falling. Omar is falling. You think the Somalis? What about the Sinaloa cartel? They could eat Somalis. Jim Jordan presses Minnesota Governor Tim Walz on fraud scandal. It's almost like child abuse watching this. And Jordan's not that smart himself. Don't forget when Tucker questioned a couple of these assholes, including who's the other guy, Cruz, you go, whoa, I didn't know they were that stupid. Yes, they are. And you know what? Waltz is fallen. How about this? Waltz says, I'm going to resign. 48 hours after. You don't think he had a bad feeling about where this could go. Listen, you know what the innocent says? Fuck you, I'm going to talk. That's why Trump goes, hey, let's open the Epstein files, every single fucking word. You didn't hear that now, did you? What are we up to, 3 million that they didn't hear? How about this? The 3 million that they showed you, imagine the 3 million that they didn't. All right, hit it, please. Now, Now, you saw the governor of Minnesota. I explained to you how this thing works is the governor, who's filthy and corrupt each and every time, who appoints the fucking AG in the state, which is how this works. The police report to the AG. If the AG doesn't prosecute, you don't go to jail. If the FBI collects the evidence, gives it to the Department of Justice, if they don't prosecute, no one goes to jail. And if the AG in the United States, like Bondi, how'd that look? Anybody going to jail? That's how it works. It's corrupt from state to state to the federal government. So this Sununu, and to the left is Anagos. What did they open? Transition centers. You know who pays for all that? Medicaid and Medicare. There's the scam, shitheads. It's cartel instead of Somalis. And they're calling the Somalis traffickers and cartels too. Hit it. See? I'm giving you step to step, and I gave it to you then. I gave you the treatment centers then. I gave you the hospitals then. Oh, of course they would open their bank. There's Sununu, the governor again. Oh, where's Anagos? Two to the right. Oh, you know that woman on the left? That's Senator Hassan, who is given the most money, campaign donations by FTX and Bitcoin. Oh, and there's the crowd. This Griner, open it. I exposed all of them, but it takes the governor. Because, ready, boys and girls? The commonality, why you need a governor? Licensing. Right, you need a bank license. You need a treatment center's license. The federal money that comes into treatment centers are issued licensing by the fucking governor. See? So you get Walt. It'll work like that in every state. We can ask Sununu where the $932 billion went. And that is, ready? Jerry Little, the banking department commissioner, Gardner, Secretary of State, son of a bitch. They both resigned days after they came up with the Pandora Papers. Now, you can see them in State of Corruption YouTube videos when you see me saying to each of them, I'm going to put your fucking asses in jail, including the United States prosecutor, which, with the AG, is the top law enforcement officer in each and every one of our states, as Bondi is to the country. Control the arrests, you control justice or injustice. Hit it. Now, let's not forget our Governor Sununu again. And let's not forget about Medicaid and Medicare fraud. Sununu just happens to have his name on the Sununu Youth Detention Center. Billions of your tax dollars. You know what happened when your children from family court got thrown in there? When they took your children, they raped them. 1,100 of them. We don't know how many they murdered. I know there's a hidden graveyard on that property because I talked to a lot of those children. A lot of them turned to drugs. And you know what happened? You know, like that Hope Treatment Center, Grand State Recovery, they went there to be turned out again. You want obscenity? Now, who would investigate those 1,100 victims? Who did those victims tell me they went to? They went to the police and they went to the AG's office. What? The AG's office? Meaning they ran a fucking cover-up for over a decade of rape and murder and drugs. You're going to like the rest of this. Hit it. So there's the system. There's the product. That's how the revenue is generated. This is part of how you clean the revenue. Anagos owns a multitude of casinos. This fucking asshole controls the lottery. Well, who's the lottery head? Oh, Andy Cruz. You know, one of those three stooges in the picture. He was the head of AutoFair when AutoFair got bagged. Sununu made him the president of the lottery. The lottery is fixed. Gambling is fixed. The casino's part of the laundering network, but you got to need, ready? A license. There's Sununu. There's his payoff. Nobody works for free here. Hit it. See? Systematic, mathematical. Remember I told you how I put this together? It can't be anything else. Oh, you're going to love this guy. This is the AG of Minnesota, right? It took him 2 to 3 minutes to answer this question. Ready? What's your name? You've got to play it and listen to yourself. You want to punch this guy in the face. Now, you ready? To the drug trade, to drug traffickers, to child trafficking. Wait a minute. Drug trade? You mean like cartels? Speaking about the Somalis? Yeah. Child trafficking that I told you is connected? Yes. Now he's going to the AG who's supposed to be arresting, prosecuting these fuckers, right? And calling them out. You didn't get a straight answer. It's Bondi times 2. I mean, you couldn't get his fucking name. But do you see how it's related? Why do you think and how do you think I caught them all? I caught the cartels and what they owned and found out how they were doing it. And that's the money laundering network that ties into the AG's office. That's protection, as is the DOJ. Then the Banking Commission and the Department of Justice protect the auditing nature. Why do they get away with it? And why the corruption in the audits? Because the IRS and the Treasury's on it, which is why they're on the $50 million. Hit it, please.
Did he admit what this one, the second image you had here was, and he got a fat campaign contribution out of it. Did he admit that or collaborate that or?
He doesn't answer anything directly, but they had. I think this guy's name is Howley. He's saying that they're getting the campaign contribution from. What did I tell you the cartels buy? First and foremost, politicians.
Right.
Pappas is a member, who's a congressman in New Hampshire, is a member of the cartel. When they get Senator Hassan and Shaheen in there, they bought their campaigns. That's how these assholes get in office. It's the dark money that elects them. And once they're in the Senate and they're in the rep, it's the federal money that gets approved for the Medicaid and Medicare. What does Senator Shaheen's husband do? He was the largest lobbyist for insurance companies in the country. He owned a pain care management company, that was pitching fucking fentanyl.
Yeah.
And what is she also on? The arms thing, where she authorized more military weaponry built in the state of New Hampshire who armed the fucking cartels. Remember I said I had the trucking company?
Yeah.
They were bringing machine guns to Laredo, Texas, into Mexico. They were bringing back fentanyl, heroin, and children.
Yeah.
Like, it takes my breath away sometimes.
I know.
This is the video I did. I hate even calling them fuck podcasts. American Gangster. Those are the AGs that ran for 20 years that department, who let go of all these criminals. When they were raping those children, they let them go. When they built the largest crime and money laundering network in the world, they did it. Did you know they all came from one law firm, McLean? And did you know the McLean lawyers were on my $50 million settlement? That's Delaney on the left. You see, Ayotte, who's now, hold your hats, is the fucking governor. She protected the banking department and the Ponzi schemes. They all protected the fucking drug cartels. You ready? The old guy there? McLaughlin, he appointed the judges on my cases, Tucker and Delker, against the cartel. His son worked for Shaheen. It was on the case. Those two judges, they came out of the AG's office, assistant AGs. The people who took my properties for Department of Revenue for the cartel was a guy named Richard Head, Dickhead, from the AG's office, who protected the laundering network and what is now the Pandora's box. All related, all from the same company. Now remember, You've got to own the AG's office so none of these fucking animals go to jail. Now, when you ask the question, are all the cops corrupt? You know what the cops would tell you? Who are we going to prosecute? They own the AGs. They're all fucking lawyers. And they look for the law firms that are in the state, which those criminals are customers. So the cops say we might as well get ours because we can't prosecute anybody in Lawrence, Mass. Not only the whole department was corrupt and the mayor, I had one witness giving them all up, explained how it worked. And that witness was in front of other witnesses, except for they put him on the street beat, put him on Essex Street, which is drug central, to get murdered. He had to resign and leave, or he was dead. The whole police department, including the mayor. There's no one innocent. So you want to investigate Massachusetts? There you go. Investigate that. Okay. But see, that's how it works. No one gets prosecuted. And that goes, you know what the AG in the state goes? Well, the Department of Justice is corrupt too. Llewellyn, the United States prosecutor, the top dog, he took my evidence and did nothing. Who's going to stand up? And when you do, you're dead. Now, there's Ayotte, right? Of course, make her the governor. She was the attorney general, then the senator, because crime pays. And ready? You know who ousted her? James O'Keefe and Aaron Day, who ran against her under my flag of corruption, got her out of it. Don't worry. They made her the governor. So just like Waltz, she's covering it up, as she covered it up from the AG's office. This woman just might be the fucking Antichrist. Okay. But you know what? You know who doesn't rat you out? Let me see if I can find it on here. The people who are equally guilty or more guilty. It's like the mafia. They don't turn around. They make sure you've killed somebody. They make sure they can put your ass in jail, just in case you decide to put their ass in jail. Well, I had a conversation with Al, just brief. State AGs need questioning. Now, you know what he said? You're spot on here. Maybe because we agree. The takedown involved 12 state attorney generals. So, yes, every one of them is under a microscope for what they knew, when they knew it. Oh, so the whole state, all of our state AGs would be questioned about the cover-ups and what they know and the documentation of everybody who gave them the evidence and witnesses of the corruption. So especially Keith Ellison, the AG has been tied to separately but related to scrutiny. Federal prosecutors of massive fraud. Federal prosecutors? Oh, you mean like the DOJ? I mean exactly like that. Autism day programs, child nutrition. Oh, you mean like transition centers and so forth. Right. Except for the hospital and transition centers and treatment centers are 1 billion times bigger. There was one school, 98 students. There was one autistic child. They had 23 teachers teaching autism, specialists getting paid by the federal government. One child, including the appearance of ties to federal probes. Bet you're at, see? The state and feds, if you're referring to Pacific recent hearings, didn't do well. The hearings that they're talking about, AI's going, oh, that didn't go well. You bet you're at. I haven't pulled up a direct transcript tying him personally to Goldrush. The Minnesota angle on every state level oversight is very much live. Bottom line, this biggest healthcare fraud takedown in history by intended loss. But the one No one found it. Skepticism holds water, meaning they didn't find it. They didn't report it. Trump dropped it on them. You know why? Oh, I found it. That's why. Bottom line, this is being called the biggest health care takedown in history by intended law. But no one found it. Skepticism hold water. Your 213 evidence, hello, on the DOJ documented videotaped. Now you understand why I showed you the evidence. I showed you I went to the DOJ, videoed it, going in there, confronting them, and then posting the results, as you have seen just here. And he refers to documented, videotaped, was pointing at overlapping scams involving hospital treatment centers and cartel. The official story stops a foreign transitional actors, a database analyst saving most of the money. If the full picture connects to U.S. politicians protecting the network or your trillions in stolen hope claims, that's exactly that needs the sunlight. And questioning every state AG, starting with Minnesota, is a logical next step. Do you think so? That's what I'm saying to you. That's the pause, what I have now, that there's a third door that's going to open. Because those AGs are going to come from each and every one of our states, which is why it's important that Trump doesn't fucking weaponize this to attack certain states that would be just his enemy, to blackmail and blackball the votes of impeachment. Told you might not like it. Your podcast drops on this sounds like they're going to lay it out. Don't be too quick. That's Pacific Minnesota AG testifying in a clip or hearing references, or the next layer of your old evidence is tied politicians in. I'm here to dig if you're pointed to dig if you point it at me. Okay. So the thing here is we're looking for the domino, as the domino should happen. And if it doesn't happen, they're being protected. That's the DOJ who gave you nobody. Those AGs who gave you nobody. And under questioning, they're folding like a Christmas card. You see what I'm saying? This should be the domino. And I am that person to run this. Somebody else do this? Somebody else gave this to you? He says 2013. Now, I found the money laundering before, but I then found the cartels, and also that was what O'Keefe was giving me with the cartels that they knew. They didn't give me the money laundering. That's why they never mentioned fucking Bitcoin. And he was pushing Bitcoin for what, 5 years before, 6 years before? They were saying, that son of a bitch. And I'm saying the Mossad, who's leveraging them with blackmail, the Senate and the Congress are going, hey, you got to stop killing. He's intercepting our blackmail operation. Right after that, Flynn and the DOJ, December 18th for the Oval Office going, you got to snatch that bastard because he could fuck it all up by exposing the Senate and the Congress. Tell me when this doesn't fit. Tell me. All with evidence, all with proof, all with witnesses, hundreds of witnesses. Why did all these millions follow my ass for all these fucking years? Why do all of a sudden you see the silence? You think someone's giving you more than what I'm showing you here? There's silence because there's the order. Even when some of these munchkins like Russell all of a sudden go, won't mention my name. You know what they're saying? Shut the fuck up. Michelle mentioning my name? Right.
Michelle hasn't even, I don't think she's even thought, or like there's nothing about you. I mean, not a thing. It's like totally quiet.
And we only built her platform, and she's had nothing to say other than talking to Jesus and selling you godly granny.
Yeah.
That's the order from all of them, from Flynn, from all of them. Because you know what? Here's the dark secret. They may need me to save them. Flynn wants me to turn on Trump. Listen, they're all bad. They're all guilty. I'm not telling you. See, there was what I could be left with. I have a means of exit. Michelle Moore, one of her posts, you're going to be rich again. We're still going to be friends as long as I turned around and didn't go after them. They even brought my children in it. But each time I said no. When I told you all these things were going to happen and happen, now this thing where now they see the path and the evidence, it scares the shit out of all of them, which is why none of them mention my name. And you're thinking, why don't they pick it up? Why don't they run with one of the new? That's why, because it's right. You think some of these pinheads know what they were fucking talking about? They're talking about goblins again. Hey, Crash. Uh-oh. Trump endorses John Sununu in Senate race. Wow. Is that why you skipped over New Hampshire, shithead? You endorse John Sununu, the Sununu family. Chris Sununu just tried to get you taken out in the brokered convention. And you know that. He was pushing Haley to get your ass beat. Remember? How about this? Do you remember who was trying to get you impeached? It was Chris Sununu. And no immunities to any of the victims of J6. And you were victims of being stupid and listening to Flynn and Trump, who's listening to Flynn, who's listening and controlled by the DOJ. And then you got to get Jack Smith putting all the pieces together. I got you. So you wonder why maybe we skipped New Hampshire? How about that endorsement? That's why you see Trump shake Pence's hand. We're trying to get him hung. Hey, how you doing, buddy? There is no friends or enemies in politics. It's who you can leverage and who you can move. Okay, Crash. I can only see that face so long.
I saw that Pence is kind of entering the scene again, and I'm like, what are they doing with Pence? And, he's coming into play. So
he smells blood.
Yeah.
He smells blood. And listen, do you remember Pence? He was flying into New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And his plane took a left turn, went back to Washington. Why? He was going to Granite State Recovery. Uh-oh. You mean the company that was owned by the cartel in Anagon? Yeah. The largest recovery center in New England, making hundreds and hundreds of millions. Yeah. You were meeting Chris Sununu and Anagos. Who buys politicians by cartels? Pence needed the money to run for president, the piece of shit. Who turned the plane around? I did. You know how I did it? That evidence you see that went to Llewellyn has to call the president. Oh, this could go bad. Pence is meeting with the cartel. Trump goes, I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
I'll tell you in 2 weeks. They were backstabbing him with his buddy Sununu that he's now kissing the ass of his brother. Sununu now, runs a fucking airport?
Yeah.
Diamond mines in Colombia and China? Special secret meetings with, let's see who. I don't know if that's next.
Well, this is what you got next. So not quite.
Yeah, that's just a simple question. We'll go back next. But when you turn around and have all these senators and congressmen making all this fucking money, why don't we audit them? So when Musk was saying with Doge, and he had this monstrous operation of all these internal people to audit, well, I don't know. Why don't we audit 100 senators? See what it gets us. Now then we know they all got fucking rushed. Omar went from 51 to 30 million to 44. Do you think that would have simplified shit? You know the wine company that they own, right? Nothing. Blank. When I brought these businesses to the Pandora Papers in Congress, the first 5 businesses I gave them, you know what? Empty shell, didn't have a desk or a pencil. All right, hit it. Now, talking about our governor, Sununu, right? New Hampshire inventor Dean Kamen. Now he leaves from nonprofits he founded. Oh, that's another one they love. Nonprofits, like the Clinton Foundation and these politicians set up, which turns around to be everything but profits. The nonprofit is they take your donations, money from the government, all to launch daily ties to Epstein surfaces. He's in the Epstein files. And there's Epstein there now. Do you know who this asshole's best friend is? Hit it. That's right. Governor Sununu and his trip to Dubai, which he won't talk about with Dean Kamen. Right. And that's Branson on top there. He shows up on the Epstein files almost as much as Trump, unless we see the next 3 million. But see, these charitable foundations is another scam to launder your money and move your money. I mean, what is it? We have the people of Dominican Republic. Remember the earthquake? And the Clintons said they saved all those lives? They hate the Clintons. They starved. And all the money that you sent through the Clinton donation was fucked. And who was working with Clinton? Bongino?
Yeah.
I mean, we go back to Clinton. Wasn't Flynn working with the Clintons too? I mean, it's one rat's nest. And the game is stealing from you at the cost of the blood of your children and the future of this country, who's now blowing shit up. Now we're not just in Iran. They could get China involved. Remember now, a good piece of the oil that China gets comes from Iran. Could get Russia involved. Now, I don't know if this story is correct, but I saw it. Trump's asking to buy drones from the Ukraine. What? And then the son of a bitch, after we invade Venezuela, threaten Mexico, and throw in Iceland there somewhere.
Greenland.
When this is, Greenland, thank you. When that's done, they're turning to Cuba.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, we're going to help those people. Did they ask for your help? I mean, this is fucking Napoleon. This is the president of peace, the president of fucking Bitcoin. None of it is what it seems. What throws you off is the sincerity of the lie, which is why these trained CIA podcasters are trained liars. They have you fighting one another. They have you one side. How about simple logic? When I asked you for fucking resumes, when I talk about the economy and putting this together, I ran the largest volume brokerage firm in the country. I built the largest racing stable, most successful stable in the world against the richest, wealthiest people in the world. Why? I learned who they were. I learned how they thought. I learned how they thought about you. And you were to be used. Why did I go to war with all those people? Because I wasn't one of them. I was still one of you. One of you that got successful for the dedication that I put into this state of corruption. How I saw them then they gave me that education of who they were. You want to talk about enemies? Those were the richest people in the world. But they were the darkest motherfuckers too. All of them. So who had a better training? And someone with insight to become a wealthy man, to be able to maneuver, which is why I can tell you Bitcoin, which I can tell you about the market and your housing. It's how I became rich, but then found who was behind it. What did I find about these people? Was the Ponzi scheme that they ran through real estate. It was the victims that were all elderly. And why elderly? You'll die soon, so you ain't going to be a problem for long. And the children, the most innocent, the victims, can't fight for themselves. We are dealing with predators. And you believe the lies. Because you know what? You know how they use? Because you want to believe it's true. Trump, the president of peace, we're going to open the Epstein files. So when that doesn't happen, what's your reaction? How do you? The economy's booming. I'm hearing them say 98% approval. Some of you must have seen that too. Fox, how insane can that be? When your oil goes from 950 to 90, when Bondi's already saying, hey, look how good oil's doing. Well, how's it doing now? And then they're going to tell you now, it's all going to snap back. Really? Well, let's see. When I told you Bitcoin pump and dump, no, I was out there saying pump and dump. It could have soared right up and been 120 again, and he would have said, hey, see that? It wasn't pump and dump. Well, did it happen, boys and girls? Is it going from 65 to 71, back and forth? That's pump and dump, shitheads. What are we at, 67 today?
I didn't look. I want to just say something real quick. I had it in my head. I guess I wanted to believe that all the bad stuff that I thought was going to happen under Biden, and it never did. I mean, this kind of stuff that we're seeing now, it's under Trump, and so but that delusion, I don't know where I got it. I'm probably Q.
And it doesn't make Biden a good person.
No, but I'm just saying, I never expected this. It's just a gut punch, and and I don't know.
But see, this is what we have to learn. You can't listen to the propaganda.
No.
This Ariel telling you the shit about, oh, he's doing this. There's fifth degree chess. Sometimes the obvious is the obvious.
Yeah.
And that's why I was automatically fighting with all these podcasters, because they couldn't bullshit me, which is the reason why they were recruiting me, trying to put me on the stage. You think these assholes could sell me? The Ninos? Please.
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing. The wilder the story, the more you believed it. So this thing with MK Ultra was a real thing. The CIA went to war with you. Listen, we're going to do some crazy shit here. They had Raiklan turning around, the minister of retribution. How'd that all work out? Any of them put him in fucking jail? None of them. Retribution. You called and threatened the FBI and the CIA and no one went after you? When grandma sneezed on J6, they threw her in the clink.
Yep.
You can't see you were played? Now they're calling out Trump. The same assholes were running around with in a bus holding a collection plate. They made it look like it was a Sunday reviver. There was certain ones that I saw with Flynn that looked like a fucking healing. He's holding up a kid. The last post we put up there, he's holding a child.
Yeah.
Come from Brummel and child trafficking. Here's one of the techniques. Appear to be what you're against is who you are. You're against child trafficking, you're a child trafficker. You're against money laundering, you're a money launderer.
They're doing that with the podcasters. You're against Flynn, you're really for Flynn. I mean, because it's like it's all part of the psyoping that on our mind games.
And what was Flynn was. He was the national security advisor of a corrupt country. You got to be one dirty bastard working with taking money from fucking Turkey.
Yeah.
And money laundering. And then he trained the CIA, his words, of MK Ultra. Elvira, Michelle says, is CIA, and Elvira and Ariel knows it. Who the fuck is she and how did she know? Which the issue with her is because I said it. That was the breakup. And you know when they turn around and say, don't throw them in the bus, which is also a measure how important I was to them. And they start turning around and saying, hey, you're right, throwing him into the bus, which is why I was able to beat the shit out of all of them using that platform. Now, in honesty, I didn't know Michelle was one of them. There was times I suspected it when she was protecting Scriptkeeper, when she was protecting Elvira, and then Elvira I knew. It's when she was trying to throw Crash under the bus, and it was about Ariel. It's also how I found Russell, which was right at the same time, who left us for fucking dead and had too much information working with Michelle Moore.
And I know I can attest to the fact that you, when you started kind of questioning here and there a little bit with her, was when I came into the picture kind of in February of 24, I think it was. It was like right after that, like in that summer when everything all went to hell. And that, because people said, well, you were, fooled all along. No, you weren't, because you were talking to me behind the scenes. And I heard you tell me, like, I don't trust these people, but, you had this hope that she was.
Think about the position we're in. The position was in, I had no direct money coming to me.
Right.
I was already broke. She opened every envelope. And it was another tip off? It was the Arizona. And it was the way they flipped.
It was her protecting them over me.
Each and every time, particularly you then.
But it was weird because I was trying to help.
And I saw that. And you know what? You're the most obvious of all of them.
Obvious what?
You're after the truth. You stick to the truth. If you tell them the truth, you know how you say why you followed me? Because you know what? He's not lying. And neither were you. Which is why I automatically started trusting you. And listen, what people don't know is Crash would question me like I was under a scope. What about this? What about this? And I was good with all of it because I needed you to know that. I needed you to know the truth, whatever it was. And what did we find out in Arizona too? Michelle, with her investigator, was running a hit piece on me. So in case they did smoke me, she was even going to burn my legacy.
Right.
I mean, that's some evil shit. And the minute we had the Arizona meeting, set them all up, they all lost their shit.
Yeah.
Even Tuckeroni thought she turned. She said, hey, this don't make sense. You turned on me. See? So in other words, all of it fit. And I'm not an easy guy to fool. But I got to tell you something. What I told you people too, when you wanted to believe, it helps you seeing clearly. I wanted to believe that I was talking to somebody who had faith and wanted to help people. But listen, when they're saying they're talking to God 3 times a week and they're bringing on a guy like Mark Taylor, they're all talking to God, and Mark Taylor's right maybe 10% of the fucking time, and it's those only 2 left, God's not telling you to have me smoked, all right? And I'll leave you with this. People of faith, because I just saw a picture of Trump surrounded by all these people.
They don't need to tell you.
It's actions.
Right.
It's actions. It's not someone saying, hey, God's telling me to sell skin cream. So I don't buy it. I don't buy the fact. But you know something? You want to believe? Many of the moles that I had through my company, through that state of corruption, people I trusted. That controller, Lisa Tracy, was my best friend for 35 years. Those are the hardest ones to see. You know why? You don't want to see it.
Right.
Well, we fixed all that. We're the only 2 left. That's all right. But we're documenting this. Remember this. And they'll screen this. We'll get 2,000 people watch it. A couple negative comments. And the handful of people that we speak to each day on Twitter. And that's it. But know this. They're all watching. Flynn people were going to try to recruit me. You don't think Trump's people are going to try to recruit my ass? All you got to do, Mike, is shut up. But I didn't take this journey for 2 decades to get to this point and become somebody else. We're going to play this to the bone. We're going to play this to the last fucking hand. And I'm telling you, with insight that got us all here, each time right, I'm telling you, they'll find me. Whether it be a third party, whether it be a large influencer, to blow this up. Because it is the right move. It is what's coming down. All you got to see is Anagos goes down. This one goes down. And then you say, you don't think they're saying guilt told us all? This is the fucking evidence that they wanted and asked for. These are the people who told you I was the greatest whistleblower in history. Well, guess what? The whistle will get blown. And I'm going to be very particular who I align my ass with. And my alignment is going to be very conditional. You tell the truth, and you make me public. You put me in a room with these motherfuckers and see if I can't start a riot. All right? I was born for that shit. I was renting movie cinemas, building an army. I had one podcast hit 8 million through Facebook, another one 4 million. You don't think I can speak to these people? You think Nino's the voice of fucking reason? You think Kerry Cassidy, Gene Deco? Are you shitting me? Put me on stage and see what can happen. Put me on national television. Can you imagine if I became the governor? Which explains why they tried to murder my ass so many times.
Yeah.
I'd have changed this fucking country. You'd have all fucking heard me. I would have had to have a bunch of armed guards. And believe me, I'd have been packing, and not just with a handgun. I'd go there with a fucking machine gun. Let's talk, assholes. See, that was the war that we were in. You just didn't realize it. But that will spread. That is wildfire. And people follow courage. That's it. That was my plan from the beginning. I didn't know how fucked up most of you were. And then the ability to stop you hearing my voice. Just enough. Because those assholes will need me. DOJ, Trump, Flynn. DOJ didn't put those videos down because it'll go up to us. You know, there's people copying those. Remember Mockingbridge copying, Russell copying? Why do you think it became so valuable to copy that shit? Because you took it down. They go, I got it. Can I have a letter of recommendation? Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, here's my letter. Go fuck yourself. But that's why it was also used as blackmail and weaponry. Trump's using it now. So I believe that third door is going to open soon. And remember this, I will not go through that door trusting a living soul. I'll be, my agreement with any of them was, what I say to you directly, and I will not be influenced. I will tell you the truth. Now, if you can live with that, and that helps your platform, or maybe that's who you are, or who you want to be, it's not who you are now, because you're not hearing shit about anybody. So when those people start speaking up, then we'll talk. So then right now, we'll keep the course. And the course is right between my fucking eyeballs. Every day. You're not seeing each week. I go from Tuesday, Wednesday, what are we going to talk about? Where we're going to go. And boom, here we are. Whatever we said is where we're going. Now, I told you about this targeting, about impeachment. Let's see how long it takes to get there. All right?
Yeah.
Let's see how long the Democrats think. He's not picking on this guy. He's not picking on that. They're just as corrupt as we are. Put that in your heads. And remember this. I told you so. My father used to tell me. He would hate me saying that. He goes, and then I wouldn't say it. And that fucker would look in my eyes and goes, you bastard, you're thinking it. I remember going back going, not saying a word, because he'd kick your ass. You're damn right I'm thinking it.
Yeah.
All right, Crash. Another week in the books.
All right.
A step closer to hell. All right. See
All
ya.
right. Bye.